Hi, it's time for Street Talk, your voice and your views on the issues in the news. On Tuesday's show, we spoke with author Lawrence Wright about his Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Looming Tower, Al-Qaeda and the Road to 9/11. We received a huge response from viewers, emails, SMS messages and telephone calls. Wright talked about his book and the events that led to that fateful day. He also shared with us his thoughts on how 9/11 has compromised civil liberties in the United States.
This is one of the greatest tragedies that has happened in our country. You know, next to the attack by Al-Qaeda on America, the greatest loss that we've suffered is the sacrifice of our civil liberties. And it's what really helped us stand apart in this contest. And we're sacrificing the most essential assets of our arsenal.
Tunde in Lagos in Nigeria is pleased that such a book exists and writes, "Thank you for writing this book because the media in the United States tilts the stories to support their government's actions. It is important that Americans get the true story because right now America's relationship with the rest of the world is on shaky ground, if not already destroyed." Heather in California likes the book but doesn't feel that it addresses the current political situation. Your book may offer new insight into the attacks on 9/11, but the events that took place on that day resulted in two very costly and deadly wars. It seems this is a war of ideologies and both sides need to open channels of communication to find a peaceful solution to it all. Jacqueline in France is not impressed and questions Mr. Wright's reasons for writing this book. There have been hundreds of books written about this topic, so what makes Wright's book different than the rest? What are his qualifications for writing such a book? It's just about making money, and I wouldn't read it even if it were given to me for free. In a sports hall in Kabul, where the Taliban used to carry out public executions, a new generation of Afghan women are training to become boxers in the hope of one day competing for their country. The young boxers train early in the morning 3 times a week despite the lack of security in the Afghan capital. The girls claim to be the first Afghan women to have ever worn boxing gloves and are proud of their passion even though they are ridiculed for taking part in a contact sport. But they said that they find it hard to train because of the lack of sports equipment and because they don't have access to a gym they can use every day. The club started earlier this year and the girls' coach, Mohammed Sharifi, said he hopes to develop boxers who will one day be able to represent Afghanistan in national and international competitions. Melanie in New York believes these women are an inspiration and writes, "Finally, some good news out of Afghanistan. Afghan women have suffered for many years, but it seems that they never gave up on their hopes and dreams. This is what I consider a good news day." However, Andrew in Canada doesn't believe women should be in the ring. Afghan or non-Afghan women shouldn't box. It's just not right, and I don't understand why women would even want to get punched and beaten up like that. Leave the brutality to the men. It's been the preferred vehicle for the flower power generation. Earlier this week, 60,000 people came to Hanover in Germany for a 3-day festival to celebrate the 60th birthday of the Volkswagen minibus. The festivities kicked off with a parade of 150 historical minibuses through the city centre. People from 21 countries brought over 5,000 models of the vehicle from all 5 generations. Participants also took part in competitions showing off the oldest, most beautiful and the most original buses. The first VW bus was designed in 1947. The VW Type 2 van was launched at the Geneva Motor Show in 1949 and production began in 1950. Over the years, the bus has reached cult status. Called the microbus in the USA or Bulli in Germany, for many it was much more than just a vehicle. Now let's say you're going to watch your favorite football team in a local match. Are you the type that manages from the stands or sits back and relaxes? Or do you go to great lengths to fly your colors? Well, take a look at these Korean fans and the stadium card stunts they have perfected. And not a single card out of place. That's it. Until next time, do keep sending in your questions and comments and point us to anything interesting or amusing for Street Talk. Remember, what you see here isn't necessarily the view of Al Jazeera. Some of the content has been edited, but for time and space reasons only. And that's the talk on the street.